Alright, testing. Mic check, testing. Okay, good evening everyone. So this is Destiny ICG again. I see some new people in the live chat, FBI Agent Gil. So today's stream is slightly special. It's going to cover something that the web novel editors have already covered. I will be using their slides directly. So a lot of people who are concerned with this copyright thing, don't worry, I checked with the editors. They said that it was okay for me to use it. I just cannot record the meeting that they have. So what we're gonna do today is a recap of Web Novel Spirity Awards Competition 2021. The dates are not out yet, but we have heard some rumors that it will take part somewhere at the end of March and early April. So that's the date when the competition starts. So it lasts about 5 or 6 months. Other details are not given yet. So what are some of the things we know about Web Novel Spirity Awards while we wait for SunScar to come online is actually the themes, which we will be covering today. There are 6 themes in total, as well as some of the requirements to actually get contracted. So basically you need to have 20,000 words in order to get contracted and finish 120,000 words by the end of the competition in order to qualify for any of the prizes. So judging criteria will be based on commercial viability and quality of content, which I have also covered in one of my blogs and my previous vlogs. Yeah, so that's about it. With that, I will be starting the stream soon. Oh, hi. Hi, FBI Gil. Hi, Raven. Uh, yeah. Oh, okay. So, happy birthday in advance for FBI Agent Jill. Okay, I'm gonna call SunScar now, and let's hope that this actually works. So I'll be switching this over. Right. So let me know if this doesn't work. Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually using Restream. Some of the chat might not appear. Most of these things are actually on Twitch instead of Restream. Yeah, anyways. So I'm gonna call SunScar right now and see how this works. It's my Discord. Okay, so we actually have SunScar on Discord right now. SunScar, can you unmute? Okay, okay. Alright, so let me just check the stream. Kitty. You can't hear me. You can't hear me, are you okay? Yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, it's working great right now.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so I actually shared the screen over. Is it okay? Is like the frame rates and everything fine? The frame rate's alright, SunScar. SunScar!
Yeah, can you hear me?
Ah, much better. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, to the guys on the stream, this is SunScar, one of my good friends, writer friends online. So, SunScar, would you like to introduce yourself to my audience?
Hi everyone, my name is Sanskar. I add a 9 at the end because uh, the normal name wasn't available. And I've been writing for around 12 years now and found Webnovel 2, 3 years ago. I basically started writing because it's my passion, but now I write full time. So yeah.
Mm. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Sanskar is actually an expert at writing female lead novels, which also means that she is a master of smut. Like in the community, she's known for that, which is why I invited her over to this stream to talk a little bit more about this Web Novel Spirity Award themes. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. Right, so the themes that we're going to cover today will be royal romance, first love, transmigration, vampires and werewolves, virtual reality, superpowers, and slice of life. So, yeah, Sanskar, would you like to take it away, royal romance?
So Royal Romance has always been a favorite for writers as well as readers because how do I put it? The idea of something so grand that the characters or the people in those stories are not just a speck of dust in the universe is very evident in a royal romance. Be it a princess who is falling in love with maybe a knight or a prince from another enemy nation, or the king who has a lot of concubines but instead falls in love with a servant. It's just the idea that there is something more, that we are as humans larger than life itself, that intrigues readers, in my opinion. And when you add in uh, the very web novel tropes such as like scheming, backstabbing, betrayals, royal romances are the cesspool, like the void in which your heart literally breaks and you feel soul crushing emotions. And therefore, I enjoy royal romances, as does everyone else, in my opinion. Um, you also have like harem. Reverse harems are very popular now, and I quite enjoy reading them because I feel like we are taking back some of the power from the main male gaze. Like, it's not
Yeah,
about the man who has so many concubines, but like women can have it too.
it's very female empowering.
Yeah, it's not only empowering from a power, as in like, oh, I have power to kill you sort of a way, but also taking control of your own sexuality, especially in the time frame that royal romances are written. They are basically from medieval period or before the industrial revolution. At that time, patriarchy was so strong that we didn't have a sense of our own, of being our own, of controlling ourselves. So seeing a woman take back that control from someone else is something intriguing. And it still pertains to where we live, because it sort of exaggerates the lack of power that we have in today's society and gives us that sense of peace that it's possible. If a character can do something of this sort, so can we. And writing a royal romance is not easy. It's not easy in the least because I'm not sure how many of you read Chinese novels that have been translated, but
Me.
royal romances are the most same. Royal romances are the hardest to write because of the scheming, the politics of it. It's a monarchy, say, but a monarchy has a lot of facets that we do not see from a modern perspective. Like, how is the king becoming a king? or how is someone getting into favor with the king? There are wars, there are battles, not of mind but also of might. And
Mm-hmm.
those things make for such good action. And this is not only for like female lead stories but also male lead stories, because a royal romance doesn't exactly need to be about one particular woman. It can also be about a man who hopelessly falls in love with someone while they traverse through life, right?
Yeah, and then I've
So
read those about.
you can, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the poor different classes whereby the prince or the someone from the royal family falls in love with a commoner, etc., etc.
Yeah, a naive, innocent commoner or something. It's a trope, right?
Yes.
So maybe there is like an arranged marriage. Like the prince needs someone to save their life, right? And they can only marry, but they have such a bad reputation that whoever marries them will die or they'll get cursed for life. Their whole family will be executed. That he has to go across the land to find this one woman who fits the bar, who's not afraid of being cursed or dying. Maybe she doesn't have a family. Maybe she's lived as a farmer and she's a perfect match and she has to marry the prince or the king because maybe her village wants it or maybe there's no other option for her. So that's like a maybe a forced marriage, maybe an arranged marriage. There is so many ways you can put it, right?
Mm. Okay, we
Yeah,
have a question from
but
chat. They want to
okay.
know royal romance in a modern day setting. Because so far we've covered from the medieval times and like the olden days. So what if royal romance is actually happening in the current world where, you know, we have like the duke and the princess and yeah, those kind of settings. Like, what would it be like for you? Is it something you could see taking off in web novel? What's exciting about it?
Yes, absolutely. So, what's exciting about it is you use the idea of someone powerful who has power over a country in some form or way and pit it against how democracy works, how capitalism works, right? So, being a ruler is no longer just about protecting your people from
Invasion.
invasion like war or famine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about how well your country is doing GDP wise. Like,
Oh.
is diamond selling better? Are our coal mines doing well? How can we market ourselves better, right? So maybe uh, the modern day prince or the modern day king, they'll have to marry someone who has business ties, like maybe a billionaire.
Mm. Are you okay? Connection?
Maybe they have a secretary, right? What?
The connection cut off. You were saying? Before secretary.
Yeah, yeah, the secretary, right? So maybe he has like a secretary who works for him, and despite all the differences in their social status and what is expected of him, he falls in love with the secretary, and they have this like secret sort of a romance, uh, almost like an office romance, but also
Ah,
very like
CEO
royally
like.
influenced. And
Yay.
yeah, yeah, but he's not a CEO, right? He's like
Yeah.
he's a
Even
prince or a king.
better. It's better than your CEO daddies, okay? Yeah, so it reminds me also like I read a lot of manga. You have this oil prince in Arabia, and then it's like, you know, the kind of tycoons and royalty over there, and then you have this modern day kind of concept where this oil tycoon actually comes off his high horse and, you know, takes you in a different world like Aladdin and like, you know, Princess Jasmine. Yeah, that
Oh
can
yeah, yeah.
be.
That's actually a very popular genre.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how popular it is on web novel because I've not seen a lot of those.
That's true.
On web novel, we don't usually have modern day royal romances, but on Amazon, on Royal Road, and
Mm,
uh, other platforms,
plenty of it.
modern day royal romances are the rage. People read it, people love it. Because a king falling in love with a peasant? How fascinating is that, right?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so to answer your question, it's something that you can look into if you are looking at participating in this year's web novel Spirity competition. So, hopefully, you would have some inspiration by the end of today.
Yeah.
Right, so this
Don't
is.
just go with the cliches. Just think about what if. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to think about today, but what if it was
It could be sci fi,
like a
sci fi
thousand
royal.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
Sci-fi, like
Future.
a king, but he's like an automaton king, right? Half
Oh,
robot, half human.
oh,
That could be cool.
oh my
Or
god.
maybe he's like an alien.
Okay, when you say that, I my mind went south. I was just thinking of how the smart would work out there.
Mine went too, but
Oh
okay,
my god.
not the place. Not on
Okay.
YouTube.
Uh,
Demonetized.
chow friendly. Okay, okay, moving on. Right, so I hope this covers royal romance enough. Right, so the second theme that we have is first love. So first love is actually a very broad kind of topic. It can be like, at your workplace, it can be like someone who died a virgin and then they reincarnated and they actually fall in love for the first time, etc., etc. What's your take on this, Sanskar?
Right. So, first love. First love is all about timing, right? You can have your first love when you were 2 years old. You could also have your first love when you were 60 years old. You should always remember that,
60
right?
years old.
Yeah, like your golden years. I'm taking an example here because I can't think of anything else right now. But
Okay.
a lot of us has watched Love O2O, the Chinese drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? At the end, the male lead and female lead, they're having this conversation where the female lead says, actually, I wasn't supposed to go to that college. I was supposed to go to a different college in a different city. And she wondered, like, if she hadn't met him, would both of them be like single forever? They would never fall in love because they were not that sort of person. And the guy then says that, no, we would eventually fall in love. Maybe we would meet when we were 60 and we would enjoy like the last moments of our life together.
So it's like instead of first love and marriage, it's a first love and till death do us part kind of thing. Wow. Okay. Well.
So it
Mm-hmm.
can start in school, it can start in kindergarten, or like your neighbor. Yeah, neighbors are all the rage. People marry their neighbors. Don't laugh.
I don't have good neighbors to marry. Sorry.
Neither do I. Neither do I.
Not in real life. Not in real life. So yeah, the joy of writing brings you imagination and give you things that you can hope for but will never
Yeah.
achieve.
Like, what if? What if that high school friend who you thought was just like a bro suddenly wasn't a bro anymore?
Out of friend zone. That
Right?
will be very groundbreaking.
Yeah. No. It it would be groundbreaking if they start a friends with benefit sort of a relationship. Oh my god, this is YouTube. What am I doing?
What are you doing?
Anyways, but still you can imagine, right? Like there are
Yes.
there are a lot of letters in
Yes.
the alphabets. Just pick like one for every scene and you're good to go.
Oh my gosh.
You'll have readers flocking to it, and like that romance, the sizzling romance of it all, mwah, can't even imagine. If anyone writes this, and I pray you do write it, send me a link. I'll read it.
Okay, so you heard Sanskar. Send her a link. She'll read it. And then she'll probably post it on her Instagram. Promote you to her 100 over followers. Yeah, okay. So by the way, those of you who are on YouTube, Sunscar's Instagram link is in the description just in case you want to find out. So right, first love is actually a very broad idea, so you can write just about anything. Oh, we have a comment
Yeah,
from
you
one
can
of the
mix and
viewers.
match. Like, we just spoke about royal romance. You could also mix that with first love, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right? We also have like transmigration, you
Mm.
have vampires and werewolves, virtual reality. Maybe your first love is like a NPC character in a virtual
Okay.
reality game,
Yeah,
right?
that's so sad, but yeah. So those
You can
are
mix and match
mixing.
pretty much everything. Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the things that are coming up. So one of the comments that I saw over here is that so in First Love you can write about this girl who you just hated so much, burned her house, killed her family, and she still comes back to you. I mean, I won't judge that there will certainly be people like this who will read it. There will be a market demand for every kind of book, but just putting it out there, web novel is a pretty child friendly kind of website now, or at least they're trying to move it to. So if you want to do something this
Pretty
dark,
PG-13.
yeah, try to keep it light, or like an accident, or like kind of brief it over, like don't go into details on how you actually tortured them, and like how sick they are. And yeah, that's just a word of advice if you're aiming at winning the competition. So web novel has a culture, and it's a pretty conservative culture right now. So if you want to write that, no hate to you, go ahead, do it. But maybe web novel isn't your place.
Right. So if it's a passion project that you want to do, like
Yes.
you want to write from your heart, go ahead, write it. Post it even. There will be readers who will
Mm.
read it.
It's just that
But if
you
you're aiming to do well in a
commercial
competition
wise.
on web novel,
Correct.
so the commercial value goes over not too much torment for your characters,
Yeah.
because readers are coming to read the novels. They want something light, something that they can read at the end of the day when they're coming back from work, or they've worked, or they probably like spend their whole time taking care of their children or their family. They just want like couple of minutes of
Mm. Some
break from
distress,
that, and they want
light
to read
moment.
something that makes them feel nice, makes
Yeah.
them feel warm inside. Even if it's a
Fluffy.
tense chapter, there should be some sense of hope there, that hey, this is gonna get better.
Mm. So yeah. We Yeah, so First Love has a second slide. So it's First Love at Sight, Star-Crossed Lovers, Second Chance First Love. Did we cover this earlier when we were going through?
No,
Okay,
not really.
yeah,
We didn't
okay.
cover this,
I see.
right? So, love at first sight, like you could come up with like a range of ways how it could be love at first sight. Um, like
The most common
we
one,
usually maybe, yeah, you see someone on the street or some place you frequent, and you see them for the first time, and you sort of have this like intrigue, and you fall in love with them, and you keep frequenting the same place and trying to approach them. That's a sort of a love at first sight you think of, right?
and also there are some tropes that encourages this love at first sight concept. For example, Omega verse is one of it. Alpha, Beta, Omega, Omega verse. Soulmate verse is also another. So it's
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
yeah, these themes are very popular among female readers, especially the super romantic ones. So you'd like to write something that
Yeah,
melts their
like
heart.
the mush, the
Yeah,
complete
turn them
mush.
into a glob. Okay, yeah,
And just a point of reference, web novel readers, like female readers specifically, they like fast paced romances. Like they
very.
want your characters to be married in the first 20 chapters. That sort of, right? I'm exaggerating here, but
I
please.
mean, yeah, true, true. You can write the first 20
Yes.
chapters, they get married, and then after that, the domestic life drama comes in. That's.
Like,
Mm,
yeah. Like, maybe show, like, to spice up your first love sort of story, you could maybe write that they fell like madly in love, maybe in a couple of weeks or months, and they got married in a rush, and their families don't like each other. Like, the families don't like each other, or the father in law doesn't like the son in law. Like, there could be a lot of combinations you could go by.
correct. So, what's the difference between love at first sight and second chance first love?
So, love at first sight. I'll tell you the difference with
Mm-hmm.
examples because that's
Great.
easier.
Great.
Love at first sight. I walk into my university class and I see the new professor teaching. He looks amazing. He speaks like the devil's advocate, and I fall in love. And that is where the story starts.
Mm-hmm.
That's love at first sight. I fell in love with him the moment I saw him. But if it was second chance, first loves, it would be like, um, I went to school with this guy. We sort of had a thing, but we separated because he had to go somewhere else. Maybe there was a misunderstanding and it didn't work out at the time. And when I was 30 years old, an old bachelor, a rich old bachelorette, I see him again. Chance encounter, and suddenly the feelings come rushing back. That's my second chance with the person I first fell in love with. That's the difference.
Mm. Oh my god, this sounds like my IRL story right now. Okay, well, that's a bit.
That's a story time on all in itself.
It's a story that will never be published, but okay. So yeah, so now we
Hey, come
understand.
on. Use your life for content. What are you doing?
You have no right to say that, please. Your life is content as well. Okay, so to prevent further embarrassment, let's move on. So this is a favorite theme, okay? Transmigration. If you're on web novel and you've never heard of this, I don't know which rock you've been living under, okay? So
It's not even a
basically,
rock at this point. They've gone into a black hole, another universe altogether.
oh, they don't live in this one. That's so sad. Okay, so basically, transmigration starts with Truck-kun. Okay, just almost every
The
transmigration
white truck
story.
of death.
Yes, every transmigration story, like 9 out of 10, you'd see in the first chapter or in the first episode, the main character dashes across the street to maybe save a cat, and then he gets hit by an oncoming truck, and then he finds himself in another world. So, transmigration has this, I don't know, it's become a meme at this point. So, Truckun, our very popular Truckun, is over here as you can see. It's a trope where you die, and then you get reincarnated into a different world. Yes. So there are three types of it. The first one is called isekai, which basically means getting born in another world. The second one is a self-insert, which means that you find yourself being put into another person's body in another world. For example, you wake up and you're no longer a baby, but you find yourself as like maybe a prince of the other world, and he had a previous identity, that's self-insert. And the third one would be quick transmigration, which kind of means after your soul died and God just recruited you forcefully to send you to different worlds as a problem solver. Usually this kind of trope is paired up with a system, which is like, you see those kind of systems from solo leveling and whatnot. Yeah, those kind of systems paired with this trope of hopping worlds. Right, so as mentioned before, so isekai is when a normal person from Earth is transported, reborn, or trapped in a parallel universe. And then the self insert is when a modern day character is put in a different world with their knowledge and they assume a different identity in a different body. And then quick transmigration is actually very popular right now on web novels, so it's picking up. But I've heard that it is a little bit mentally exhausting to write such stuff.
For the readers.
It,
Also for the readers.
yeah,
Because you get new names, new side
correct.
characters, right?
Yes.
And the development of the character is like the main character is very
Mm,
difficult to pinpoint because
correct.
they're going from one world to the other. They're starting over every time. So sometimes the main character loses their sense of self. Like, who is the main character in reality? So
Mm.
that comes into question a lot in transmigration.
Correct. So while it's a fun read, for readers, it's something that takes a lot more skill. So if you're a beginning writer, like a beginner writer who love reading all these kind of tropes, I would suggest maybe isekai or self inserts first. These are generally easier.
I think self insert would be the best option for
Mm.
the first timers because the worlds are usually pretty similar to our world,
Mm-hmm.
history and like timeline wise.
Yes.
So you don't have a lot of elements of world building involved.
Correct.
So on a beginner
And
basis, self insert is the best way to go. But But if you're feeling daring, you can go isekai.
Mhm.
So isekai is a more fantasy sci-fi sort of a world where you need to put a lot of emphasis on
World building.
how the world works. It's not just about the character but also the rules of that work. If they have magic, if they have certain different species that are very popular, right? So those are difficult.
Correct. So, yeah, do we have any questions from the chat about this transmigration? It is usually a more popular theme among male lead genres, like the readers are mostly targeted for males. Yeah, that was your question earlier, right? So you said you had a very small percentage of female readers. That's because of genre wise. So this theme is actually more popular. Okay. Come, let's hear your question.
But transmigration was all the rage 2 years ago in female lead. Um,
Usually paired with royal
because
romance.
yeah, with royal romance. Transmigration was a lot to do with royal romance. There was this one where the female lead came originally from the past
Mm-hmm.
to the present. That was a very nice twist to transmigration
Oh,
because
okay,
this
so it's like
character needed to get acclimated to modern stuff because we as modern readers, we have the internet and we know about our history, right? So if
mm-hmm.
we go into a past world, we have some knowledge about how those worlds work. But
Mm.
imagine if someone from like Shakespeare's time is suddenly in the 21st century and they were writing on like pieces of papers. They didn't
Skin.
have a printing press. Not skin, oh my.
That's way too bad. Yeah.
And then they're transported to our world where we have these like Zoom calls and like laptops, and they're like, what the hell is going on?
Oh my god,
They
this
have no
box
idea
is
where they are.
talking. Yeah, it reminds me of Ariel
Yeah,
from
the
The Little Mermaid.
yeah, you can just imagine. Oh my God, are there people inside this box? Is this like how advanced
This
humans
is
have got?
magic. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so the chat has a question. What happens to gender bend isekai?
Ah,
So
same.
gender bend is something that is currently a gray zone on web novel itself. So while there is a market for this, gender bend triggers a lot of people. So you gotta put clear warnings into it. For example, your main character was a male in the previous life and then he becomes a female in this life. So yeah, there are stories like this as well. I think really
Yeah,
did
we do
something
have
right.
stories like this which are
Necromancer,
doing
Snow Girl,
very well.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Snoga, yeah. He's at the
reincarnated as a
top of the
snow
female
girl.
leads, right?
Correct. So you can do that,
Yeah.
but you gotta put your text really, like, really clear. Make it sure that people
There's a
understand what's
very
going on.
specific kind of writing that works for gender bend
Yes.
at the moment.
Mm.
But you also have like recently the Korean drama Mr. Queen came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a worldwide hit. So I gauge that female lead readers might appreciate some form of gender bend,
Mm. They're usually more
right?
open-minded,
But also in
accepting.
a very feminine sort of a way, right?
Mm.
So,
You need to craft it accordingly to put it into a more neutral kind of writing rather than overly
so maybe,
feminine.
maybe the female character, like the main character, whose body the man transmigrates into, she's very meek, very nice sort, and the guy has more authority because he was born a guy. He feels like he's entitled to stuff. So that sort of a change, that's nice. Like it will show like a powerful female lead and how like a man sort of like sees how men and women are not different,
Mm. So
or how
that's mm-hmm.
some relationships like love is like love. It's just love.
Mm.
You don't need to think about the other particulars when you're in a relationship. So those
Correct.
tropes might become important because there have been a few gender bending series which
Mm.
have become very popular. Bromance is a good example. It was in I think 2016, 2017, right? Um, people like reading cross-dressing sort of a
Okay.
story too, right? But only when the girl dresses up as a guy.
So yeah, nowadays the heat
Apologies.
is all in the tropes. So like the guy dresses as a cute girl. Yeah, so you can do anything like this.
But
So
if you are interested in BL or GL, right? Because
um,
BL is coming up, right?
yes, I'm an expert.
And if there's like transmigration involved in that,
Oh, that's a hit.
that's actually pretty cool.
Pupa Climb Ranks. That's like his best-selling book right now. He did quick transmigration in BL.
And yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
then
good. It's well
there's
written.
VR and Tiramisu right BL, but VR. I think Momocat did something similar as well. So it's like, yeah, you can consider that. Those are like super niche. What you're asking about gender swaps, gender bands,
But it's also like
LGBT.
if you have there is a ready-made audience for it,
Yes, these are the audience that
right?
will actually pay.
And they will read it if it's a well-written.
Correct. They are hungry for content. So this is one thing that you can consider.
Because they have so little to go around.
Exactly.
Because CEO novels, royal romances,
It's
there are
flooded.
plenty of those on web novel. But if
Correct.
you want to stand out,
You
even
can
though
risk it.
BL is a niche,
Mm-hmm.
it's a niche where the readers want so much more. They want hundreds of stories, but they're getting one or two, right? So
Mm,
go ahead, live
correct.
your best BL life.
So what you can do if you're looking at writing niche is to blend it in with mainstream concepts that already exist so that you can reach a wider audience with a higher acceptance rate to put yourself out there. So does that answer your question? Right, okay, so moving on. This is another very cliche and I would say
Still very popular.
it's popular, it's evergreen, it's basically evergreen, it never dies out. So vampires and werewolves are things that, from the 2010, 2000s until now, the rage is still there. People are crazy about,
The vampire and werewolf rage started in the 1800s, mind you.
I mean,
It started
modernized.
with the
It,
degeneration movement
yes,
in
correct, but
literature.
it wasn't
Yeah.
hot back then. Like the actors were just downright gory and Halloween makeup, and then they started making them handsome. And then people went crazy over them. That's the hype. They have to be handsome. Nobody wants an
Yeah,
ugly
no matter
vampire
what,
now.
even if it's like an orc you are writing about, make the male lead handsome.
Correct. And if you're doing a reverse harem, then make the females pretty. Like, make them like undying hot, that kind of eternal beauty. Yeah, that works.
Like beauties that could make wars happen.
Ah, drop dead gorgeous. Country destroying. Yeah, I mean, hell, you can make one of these royal romances come in as well, Like the supernatural
Maybe like a
lover is an
royal romance
empress.
with the supernatural,
Mm-hmm.
like Ash does, right? Ash does
Yeah,
this very
yeah,
well.
yeah. There are web novel writers who succeed in doing this. So the thing is, there are many laws and like rules of this kind of things. Like for example, werewolves. Some say that you need to have a Luna, and then you need to have a pack order and stuff like this. And in vampires, some people argue about whether sunlight destroys them or not, especially in modern day society. So there's no hard and fast rule. You can decide on your own what you want to keep and what you want to pick.
Exactly. Like
Mm.
using existing lores, like Twilight had a very specific lore that they were going
Sparkle.
to, right? Yeah, they sparkle because their skin is so hard. The light refracts, and it's like 1,000 diamonds
Mm.
in place of their skin. Whereas Vampire Diaries, they had those rings, those enchanted rings that protected them from the sunlight.
So basically, vampires. Moving on very quickly. You guys should know Vampire Diaries. You guys should know Twilight. We're not gonna go through that. So vampires usually come from this aristocratic kind of thing. You have your dukes, you have your kings, you have your knights, and your whatever not. So it's kind of like a royalty thing. Many people write vampires with royalty kind of heritage things, and then sometimes they include magic as well. So vampires can work for just about everything. So instead of just typical vampire romance, you can consider Vampire System, which is our web novel top seller, the Vampire System by JKS Manga. That is a trope that you can consider making. So this is not not a theme that's fixed to either gender. You can make it male lead, you can make it female lead, depending on how you want to present this. Similar with werewolves. So in werewolves, usually you have your pack and your order and the alpha and the Luna. Typically, werewolves don't. I've not seen a werewolf male lead uh novel yet. No, most of them are just female lead
Yeah, there
novels.
are.
Hmm.
There are.
Are there any like male lead werewolf novels out there? I'm just
Yeah,
wondering. Just not
of
a web
course.
novel, right? Because I don't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
So
It's
any
there.
any writers who wish to be the first to challenge this in web novel, you can write a werewolf trope and make it the new best-selling on web novel. Yeah, that's just my take. My
Because Teen Wolf was all the rage, right? And it's
mm-hmm.
not exactly a
No, it's not.
romance. It's not a female lead
No,
one. Like
no.
loads of men watched. Like my brother watches it still. And that's saying something. He's 35.
I'm going to try my best to not judge. Okay.
Yeah, I judge him, so go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Right. So moving on. This one is actually something that I have been pestered to try, and I honestly think it's fun. So virtual reality, for those of you who don't know, comes from like it can be from the Matrix. It can also be from Sword Art Online. It depends. So virtual reality basically is a sci-fi-ish society whereby you experience life in a game, but you don't die. So it's like a double life kind of thing. I'm currently doing one. It's called Godfather World. Thanks to Momo Cat's encouragement. So Momo Cat is also she's a master at writing virtual realities. Yeah, so she's doing something about cooking. So it's a cooking adventure RPG kind of virtual reality. Mm. So in virtual reality, basically, it's more of adventure based, action based. People want to see the progression of the character more than anything else. So it could be male oriented, female oriented, reader based, depending on how you write it. So virtual reality is a very broad spectrum you can choose. You want to put it like magic world, you want to put it in a war world, you want to put it in like a cooking world. You
A
can.
pandemic world.
Oh my god. I will bail. I pass.
It's
I
it's pertinent to it's pertinent to our times, right? So imagine if we had a VR game sort of a thing that
about
could let us
COVID.
experience life while we were stuck inside,
Oh.
right? That would be
Oh.
cool.
Oh my god, it's like you have COVID. Who cares? Take this VR 3.0 and get into a new life. And then you have like, no more bosses, no more jobs, no more pay scales. Come, my VR life is here. Let's chop trees, let's fish. Even if I can't go out, it's okay. I have friends and actually that would be really cool. I need that.
And then the crushing feeling of like loneliness comes in because then you realize everything is virtual. Them
Please
are
don't
your
remind me.
friends.
Don't remind me. I want to cry. But yeah, so basically, VR world is like a very creative thing that many new authors can try their hands on. I would encourage it. So I don't know
So,
why. Mm-hmm.
taking elements of like the transmigration tropes.
Transmigration to VR. You play a game, you die, you get born in the game world.
Mm-hmm. Like
Uh,
Memories of Alhambra. I don't know how many people watch this.
oh, it's probably like Lock
But like,
Horizon, something like this.
no. So basically, they develop a game, and this
Mm-hmm.
guy starts testing it out, and he slowly like loses like himself from the reality. Like he is not part of the real world anymore. He gets absorbed into
So
the
like
VR game.
virtual
He becomes a
reality
character.
gaming addiction.
Not a gaming addiction, like he literally becomes part of.
So he becomes cybernized.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, oh, yeah. I kind of remember animes like this, right? So virtual reality. Okay, do I have any questions from the chat so far? We've been talking a lot. No? Okay, then I'll be moving on. So, is this the last? No, it's the second last theme. This theme is superpowers. Why is Elsa on the front page? She's not the poster girl for superpowers. Like,
Start singing, let it go.
let it go. Oh my gosh.
No monetization.
Okay, thanks for reminding me. Right, so superpowers kind of, I don't know, okay, maybe X-Men, your Marvel, your DC, your whatever. Yeah, basically,
Even vampires have superpowers, right? Edward could read minds.
yes,
What's a superpower?
that's a like combination kind of trope
Mm-hmm.
theme thing. Yeah, you can blend this in just about anything. So you can even have superpowers in like a magic dimension, magic world, maybe transmigration
Mm-hmm.
world, or like even royal romance. Yeah, so superpowers, some of these things listed over here are examples, but definitely it's a very broad spectrum. So, telepathy, flight, ability to heal, controlling elements, communicate with animals, shapeshifting, invisibility. I don't actually know the kind of superpowers that are original anymore. And if you actually don't care for originality, you can go to a random power generator. Like, internet has a lot of
Yeah.
these kind of things.
Like the ability to find like toilets.
The ability to find what?
Toilets.
To-
Washrooms.
what? Why? Why
You
of
could
all
make a
things?
fortune out of that.
What?
Imagine, okay? So, especially in my country, we have a lot of like public toilets and stuff, right?
Okay.
But it's a superpower to find one that is unoccupied. Imagine
Mm.
an IT like tech coder sort of a dude has this
Mm-hmm.
superpower and he goes around the world creating an application helping others to find suitable like washrooms when they are in need.
Oh my god, this sounds like I don't know if I should support this kind of idea cause like we are supposed to be child friendly, Sanskar. Or is my brain not
This is
child
child
friendly?
friendly. What's wrong with this?
No, it's like
But
you
like I just gave this example because it could be something very stupid. A superpower doesn't need to be like, oh, I'm going to save the world with this power. It can be something so insignificant, but you as
mm-hmm.
a person can use that power to do great things with.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that is part of superpowers and while it would be awesome to do that, I mean I won't imagine people would be very happy to know that their privacy is kind of being violated by their superpower, especially when it comes to toilets. Yeah. My
He's
train of
making
thought.
an app to help them go to toilets.
Yeah, I know, but
What
you
the hell?
know,
It's a
if
map.
yeah, if the news comes out that oh, the app creator has a superpower to actually see through toilets and
Why
see
would
which
he
is the
say that?
guy. I mean, if he has a boolean, it
That's
gets
that's bad for marketing.
it could happen. I'm just saying if the writer runs out of content like me. But okay, let's sidetrack a little bit. What
The
kind of
thing is, no one would guess. Real people wouldn't think someone could have that superpower. They'd
uh,
rather believe in aliens.
I don't know about that. I would actually side with superpowers. Okay, maybe I'm not normal.
Not normal.
I
So
don't
it can
think
be anything,
I don't think
right?
any of the
It can
writers
be
are
a
same.
very small super.
It could be. It could be. It could be the superpower to never blink your eyes. And then you
Mm-hmm.
see through x-rays of everything else. Yeah, something like
Or
that.
maybe you have an extremely heightened sense of hearing or smell, right? That's also a
Mm-hmm.
superpower. Uh, those of us who have watched like Bird Box, right?
Mm-hmm.
In like an apocalyptic world, maybe like a power you had that seemed very insignificant in your daily life, that could be a lifesaver for you and for many. That's a possibility.
Yep. So, sidetrack a little bit. What kind of superpowers do you wish you had?
I What kind of superpower? Like it's a I'm
Any kind.
torn between two things,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So one would be that the things I wrote became real,
Oh,
right? Like
okay.
whatever I thought would be realized that way.
Okay, and then the second one?
And the second one would be that when I fell asleep, whatever dreams I had, they could be stored in one space and I could watch them.
So, like a Google Drive, but for dreams? Beep boop, my connection's still good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Ah. So it's like a Google Drive for but for dreams, your
Mm-hmm.
dreams? Ah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But imagine if someone was able to not only do that to themselves, but
Mhm.
everyone else.
Oh my god.
But would they, like, they could choose, do they want to be a villain? Do they want to be a hero, right? You could very well use that power to extract, like, what sort of thoughts someone had. You could use that for evil. You could blackmail some really powerful people into doing what you want.
I need to contact my lawyer and check through all my PDA contracts.
Why?
Yeah, privacy breach. Hello? If anyone had that kind of superpowers, it's like the you're not allowed to come in a writer's mind. Don't you know? We're insane. I could be sued for murder. That kind of thing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm you are the same. You wrote an autopsy for the mind. That itself is saying something. My lady.
Yeah.
Yes. But if I had a superpower, I would just steal from Naruto. I'm like, I want that infinite Kagebushin, that kind of superpower, you know? Wow, can you imagine 1,000 of myself? I would be so productive. I'll be able to
You
churn out.
wouldn't, believe me.
I'll be able to churn out
Never would that
books.
happen.
Oh, I will. But I feel like I'll be 1,000 times more stupid as well. The lack of life skills. Oh wow, we're almost an hour. Okay, so the last one, the last theme of this novel Spirity competition is actually called Slice of Life, which I initially tried and I failed, and I decided to never try it again because Slice of Life is
It's hard.
kind of hard. It's
It's very
fluffy.
hard.
It's like it's fluffy, it's lighthearted, you know. All a lot of your animes are actually slice of life. They focus on little things, but it's all the little things that adds up and makes it difficult. So for those of you who don't know what slice of life is, a general definition is something that focuses on daily life with a touch of like dramatic and comedic events. Mostly comedy. You gotta be a master of comedy if you want to attempt slice of life. And then the
But
character.
slice of life
Mm-hmm.
comedy is very, very specific, right?
It has
It's
like
not
a
like the kind of
format. Yeah,
salacious like comedy that
yeah.
I would generally write,
It's a
right?
very fluffy, light-hearted kind of comedy with a lot of stupid moments, like oh my god, I
Very
forgot
PG,
to.
like even like PG
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
10 or 9.
Kids will enjoy this so much. So yeah, so it doesn't really follow a lot of action plot. There's not really much going on. Sometimes you don't even see plots. It's just like a writing prompt scene, and then you write a chapter based on that scene. It doesn't even have to make sense. But the one that you have to build up is your characters. So a lot of times slice of life have like a cast of characters, which can be repetitive, so people can predict the kind of characters that like you might have the airhead character, you might have the muscle head character, and then you have this cool guy character, the boring girl character, the nerdy one, and the super insanely genius kind of character. So, mm, I guess slice of life.
Stereotypical characters.
Yes,
They're very
stereotypical.
stereotypical.
Correct. You can predict it, but at the same time, it's hard to be original and stand out from the rest of the slice of life because of this. I wouldn't recommend this for like, first time writers, especially not a web novel. Like sure, there are people who've written slice of life really well. So one of them is Lina Perel. He wrote Adopted Soldier. It was so good, but at the same time I don't think anyone else would be able to reach that level of achievement for a slice of life. Like for example, if you're a slice of life author for one work, it's very difficult to write original content for the second book if you're doing slice of life, and it won't be able to drag past like 1,000 chapters in my opinion. It's just hard. All right, Sanskar, anything you want to add on slice of life, or this is not your genre?
Slice of life, something I will never. I cannot. Like, I just cannot fathom it.
You and I, same
Like, I
page.
have watched a lot of Slice of Life.
Mm-hmm.
I've not read a lot of Slice of,
Oh, yeah.
but they are enjoyable, right?
It is very, it's like
They're
very
very
relaxing.
enjoyable,
You see it and then you're
but
like,
also
ah.
extremely hard to read.
Yeah, as a content creator,
Like,
no, just
yeah, I
no.
can imagine like people who write Slice of Life, these like worryless, sorrowless kind.
Mm, mm.
Because for the life of me, I wouldn't be able to write a scene with drama and comedy that is so pure and innocent.
I think we are too jaded, like, too hurt by this world. It's a very dark place, and writers have
Disillusion.
depression. We have depression like 90% of the time. I'm just saying.
Exposing
I'm
to
exposed. I'm exposed. All
boss.
right. Oops. All right. So, basic formats of slice of life. You got your academy and school, which is a very common setting. You got your modern and what am I talking about? Modern and relatable. So these are like, you go to work and it's like otaku, falling in love with an otaku at office and stuff like that. Yeah, that's slice of life. And you also have comedy, which is like 100% slice of life. Full Metal Panic, Fumofu is slice of life. Definitely slice of life. So yeah, so that's all the themes that we've covered so far. Right, so before we end the stream, this is a bonus slide from the web novel editors themselves. They have certain advices. So, for example, things like be original, but not too original. And then you think, the editors sound like they're high on coffee and bipolar, but that's not true. The reason why they say this is a lot of times
Yeah, do you want to go?
you can go. You have experience on this, right?
Yeah, so oftentimes as authors, we go two very extreme ways. We either go with like the cliche plot, like the definite like baselines that will do well because there is always a market for them, people will read them. Or you become too original and your story becomes niche, right? But there is a middle way and it's easy to.
Mm.
So there are tropes, there are cliches. Look at them, place them by, right? And then at one point ask, what if it was this instead of that, right?
Examples.
So,
Examples.
for example, tell me a very cliche plot.
I don't know, just take it
What it might
from
be?
our presentation earlier. That's like all of those, almost all of those are cliche, Like transmigration, that's like 100% cliche.
Okay, so I have a sort of it's not transmigration, it's like rebirth transmigration, and
Mm-hmm.
it's for female lead
Mm-hmm.
readers. The premise of the plot is that a female billionaire,
Mm-hmm.
she gets into an arranged marriage with a guy who is less rich, right?
Mm.
He's a millionaire of sorts, right? But he's really nice. He's a really nice bloke. And she marries him, and things quickly turn sour. And at the end, she dies. Normal plot, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, then I thought, how could I make this different? I wanted to follow the cliche and the tropes, but I also wanted to make it a little more exciting, a bit different than the others.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked, what would my character think when she woke up? Right? What if character is an atheist and she doesn't believe in afterlife or God or rebirth?
So God sends her back as a
What will she
zombie.
think? I mean that's original.
I'm sorry.
But
Why did
no.
I say this?
So basically, I opted for her thinking like she's a businesswoman, and she thought, okay, so this is my gut speaking. I had a dream where I had some underlying worries about this guy, and I figured it out. And in my dream, I sort of took it to like a extreme level and I saw it. And she's like, okay, it's my gut telling me that something is wrong. Let me do some background. And she thought, okay, so this is my gut speaking. I had a dream where I had some underlying worries about this guy. I figured it out. And in my dream, did that just get replayed?
Uh, I think so. I'm sorry. Yeah. Did that
Yeah, yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay, where were
I
you?
got like, am I echoing? Yeah. So she thinks in that way, and this story has like two reborn like characters. Okay, so the male lead also was reborn. He's also an atheist, and he doesn't even know he died.
Mm-hmm.
So he just like he saw that the female like they were enemies. Okay, like they were like business enemies of sort. They grew up in the same circles, and they were always trying to one top another. And he left her in the dust. Okay, he was like he had lots of money, lots of power, and she was just like climbing the stairs still. And after she died, he found out that she had died, and somehow he started feeling guilt. He found out what had happened, and he was like, hey, I couldn't do anything. And then he was like, why am I even thinking about this? And he suppressed the guilt, and he worked so much for so many years, he barely got any sleep. And one night he just fell asleep, right? And the next morning when he woke up, he was like, where am I? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, from the rebirth transmigration point of view, he died from overwork. Yeah? And he was
Correct.
reborn.
Hmm.
But he is thinking this is a glitch in the matrix, right? This is not supposed to happen. This is not scientifically possible.
Okay.
But by quantum physics and string theory, this can be explained.
I
So he is thinking like a change in circumstances, like a vibration in the fabric of the universe, caused multiple parallel universes to sort of like merge together or something. That's in his mind. So he went from one parallel universe to another. That is how he is scientifically rationalizing his rebirth,
mm-hmm.
right? And the story goes on like how they do it, and the guy is so sure that she's also like she has some knowledge. And I plan to give them like them sort of like this disclosure where they're like, wait, we had the same sort of dream, and he's like, wait, we're from the same universe. And it's like sort of a conclusion to that, that there is probably no like unscientific option that they will choose to believe, but they are content that it happened, right?
That's a very too original content by SunScar. I my brain give up at string theory. I'm sorry. My computing
Yeah, it was
power.
just like, what if they don't believe in rebirth?
I
That would
know.
change things
I
around, right?
know.
It's
Yes.
just like,
There's one thing I gotta point out, Sanskar. I love your theories and all, but web novel readers are usually not that smart.
I
Strange
know.
to put it. Yeah, so string theory. If you lose me
No,
at
I
string
didn't go into
theory,
that.
yeah, if you lose
They
me,
understood that part. Don't worry.
okay,
I,
okay,
I was like IQ 10. That was my level of explanation.
okay, good, good. Yeah, if it was up to me, I'll just be like, okay, you're an atheist, you go back as a zombie. End of story. Actually, no, start
That
of
for me is
story.
too original.
Really? Okay, okay. And people
We have very
question
different
why.
ideas.
I know, right? People question why I'm insane. I'm like, this is exactly why I'm born different. I'm like half a genius. The other half is just plain dumb. But okay, anyways. So we covered be original, but not too original. Take your pick. You can be a
Okay, so if it's
Sanskar
like,
or Aitsuji.
yeah, too original, what would be too original?
Something that general readers cannot cope is considered too original. So it's more of the presentation rather than the content, in my opinion.
Ah, so I don't know if everyone knows Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So Dawn has a book
Stick.
where his character is reincarnated as a stick.
And then that stick grew into a bigger stick and a stronger stick and a stick with elements and a stick with magic, and it
It's
became an OP
amazing.
stick. I was like, oh my god, that is
It's so
original.
original. It's too original, right?
But it made it.
But it's so addictive.
Yeah, he made it. He's so good at this. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
original, but it's not too original because it's like reincarnated stick, system, power, weak to strong. You have it all there. Everything else, the reader can follow. That is a very, very good example of what a winning entry would look like. Yeah, so
definitely.
speaking of winning entries, so web novel winners are actually decided by two judging criteria. So your commercial viability, which means you definitely have to earn way more than your MGS payouts, and your content
Way
quality.
more.
Yeah, way more. When I say way more, I mean way, way more.
Like think MGS into like 200.
MGS is 200, so you gotta earn way more. It's put you
Into
about
200. I mean, not that
mm,
much.
about a
Not that much.
maybe 1,000 USD a month earnings, something like that. I actually don't know.
That's very low.
That's low? Oh my god, I've never even
Yeah.
gotten that. I've never even hit 200 without MGS. That's my standard of too original.
No, so if you're earning maybe $4,000-5,000 a month,
Mm-hmm. It puts you up
you
where?
would be a serious contender for the winning
For
position.
which price? Like the first there are like three tiers, like constellations, the
Okay, so you
participating
have the
ones.
golden, like first prize, right?
Gold
You have the
was
silver, the
JKS.
second part.
Okay.
Yeah, so JKS, and you also
JKS.
have on the other hand, you
Mm-hmm.
have Ash,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. They were both tied for gold.
Right. So female and male had like different
Correct. Different judging
winners.
criteria, basically.
So JKS, was a winner,
Mm-hmm.
and he earned a lot of money. Same
Definitely.
for Ash, right?
Definitely.
The second tier was silver.
Mm-hmm.
So that was you had Vinay
Ah,
Raj,
yeah, yeah, that's right.
right? He won second,
Mm.
and here it was cousin, right?
I actually didn't follow up last year's result, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, it was cousin, right? Hellbound with you won second
ah,
prize.
ah, yeah, yeah. I heard. I think I know. FL. That's
Also
FL.
very successful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's FL. Vinay was ML.
yeah. Vinny,
Kazan
I know.
won.
Cause I haven't spoken with them.
And then there was the third tier
Mm-hmm.
for the nominated prizes. So
Ah.
I don't remember a lot of those, but they also had very good income,
So it's safe to say that if you are
right?
consistent in like 50 ranks, like top 50 ranks, it's
Top 50 ranks,
yeah,
you have a pretty good chance,
good
right?
chance in top 20
Views
actually.
don't really matter, I can tell that, but if you are in the top 50 and you're earning well, your views will they
Increase.
will reflect,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So your um, the plan would be to write in advance, plot out the whole thing, then
Stockpile.
revise it,
That's true.
and stockpile, keep stock,
Correct.
because no matter if you're writing for FL or ML lead, you
Consistency.
will need a stock. Some days you will not feel like writing, and if you have to post like 2 or 3 chapters on those days, your
Mm-mm.
writing is going to suffer and your mental health is going to suffer and you're going to burn out really quick.
Yeah,
So you
so
need to stock.
it's like don't compromise the content quality, which is also one of the judging criteria. You gotta make sure that the quality is there, and web novel editors always stress on consistency. So if you're participating, you want to look at daily updates if possible. If it's not
Daily
possible,
updates, at least
at
one
least
chapter
one
a day,
chapter a day. Correct. If it's not possible because some of
write
you,
1K words per chapter, right?
that's
But at
opinion.
least write one, post
At least
1K.
one. Correct. If you want to qualify for MGS, that's like 1,005. But anyway, we sidetrack. So the next point is MGS comes in when you premium. For those of you who don't know, I have new authors asking me what they should do. So here's a very simple explanation. You write a new book, you join the competition and apply that book for the competition when you create it, and then you write 20,000 words. Upon writing 20,000 words, you should be given a contract after reviewing by the web novel editors. In that case, you can choose to lock certain chapters up to a certain limit. Editors can advise you, but usually it's about from chapter 50 to chapter 200, anywhere in between. Find a good place to lock it.
From 50k words,
Mm,
100k words, somewhere around that.
correct.
So lock at a chapter where there is a cliffhanger.
The
Like
best cliffhanger.
previous chapter should have like the cliffhanger that like someone is dying or something, right?
That's
And the
true.
next chapter you lock it and everyone is like, no, I need to open this lock,
And if it's FL,
right?
always lock it before smart. That's a trade secret. Kind of, not really trade secret, but anyways, that's
I never
premium.
use that trick.
Why? You should have done that. They'll be hungry for it.
Because my story had smart from the very beginning.
Ah, darn. You spoil them too much, Sanskar.
Yeah, my story was based on like smart turning into like this everlasting romance.
Yeah, okay, but for new writers, don't be a Sanskar. Alright,
Don't do
so
that. Yeah.
lock your
I
chapters.
don't follow the rules.
Oh man, you rebel. This is why we're friends. But anyway, so for those of you, be good writers, okay? Just don't break the I'm telling you how to succeed, okay? Like you lock it before the smart scenes, lock it before someone dies, or like after someone dies, and the point whereby your
Or before
readers
a
want.
marriage proposal.
Oh yeah,
Like right before it, and people will be like, no, we need to see it.
yes, make your readers want to kill you. That is the chapter you should be locking
Yeah.
at. That's premium.
So
And
if you get like comments like, author, I'm going to stab you, I'm going to hunt you
that's a
down,
good sign.
you're doing well.
You're doing very good. Give yourself a pat. Come here for a kiss. Okay, so once you lock it, it's premium, which means your MGS starts. In a lot of cases, people are like, what is MGS? Guys, I did a video before this, so you can check that out on my blogs. But long story short, write 1,500 words a day for uploads daily for the month to qualify for USD $200 by Webnovel, regardless of how many people pay for your chapters for the first 4 months. So that is MGS. Take advantage of that. And at the same time, there's something called privilege. Privilege is something that is given to contracted authors where you can put a stockpile which has to be locked and only readable by coining, which means only paid readers can view those chapters, which honestly they gave you up to 50 like chapters in advance, but most people don't really need to write 50 chapters in advance. So yeah, it's the pricing guide is on my blog as well. You can check that out. And then the next point over here, help each other out. I I won't say helping is a bad thing, but you know, I don't want to speak ill of bad novel, web novel, but there are some really toxic people in there. You gotta be careful of who you help out, you know. I don't know, Sanskar. What do you have to say about this? I hardly have writer friends.
I'm silent.
Okay, so we will, you know, remain silent about this matter. Yeah, but just
Okay.
be
So a
careful.
general advice for life in general.
Life?
Yeah.
Okay. Life advice.
Just follow again. Follow along, okay?
Okay. Okay.
You will have friends, you will have family members, but in the end, you can only depend on yourself. Do
You
not
sound
trust
so.
others very easily.
Why do you sound so holy saying that? Yes, Shisho, I will hit you everywhere. Yeah, no, like good people do exist, but they are few, rare, and hard to come by. So if you actually do meet good people, don't hesitate to stalk them on social media. I mean, not in like don't be a creep.
Don't stalk them. Don't stalk them.
Only on social media that's allowed, okay? So help each other out. A lot of times you would see a lot of people just take advantage of each other. They were like, oh, I'll do a review for a review. Let's do a review swap. How about you buy my privilege and I'll buy your privilege? And how about I'll leave comments on your chapters, or like I'll tag you on social media. I'll blah 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. But you gotta realize that not everybody who does this have pure intentions. They just want to drag down your ratings, etc., etc. They, yeah, just honestly, I would not suggest you to look for this kind of people to help boost your reputation or get along anywhere. You should be looking for the people who are commenting favorable things about your books for help to do all these things. Yeah, that is my advice. So neither Sanskar nor I are like marketing gurus. Like, okay, sure, we both studied business, etc., etc. But it's a very different thing when you're working for a company and a very different thing when you're working for yourself. So we both suck. I can't give you advice. Sanskar, maybe you can give advice?
I can't give you like a lot of advice. I did work in marketing,
Hmm.
like a strand of marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and I do have a degree in literature, 2 degrees in literature. But, oh God, come on. But that doesn't mean that I'm this almighty being that knows, because not all forms of writing work, and even if you write very similar to someone else, doesn't mean that you will be successful.
Everybody has a different path to take for their own success. So instead of following somebody else's, create your own.
And also, you cannot get dissatisfied or like you feel bad about yourself
Don't beat
or
yourself
put
up.
yourself down if you're not doing as well as another author, because everyone's growth trajectory is different. Some people write for 70 years, and at the end of their life, maybe after they die, they get like
Forgotten.
recognition for their work, while others get it in their first month of writing,
Some never
right?
get recognized.
And some never get recognized.
That's
But
the
let's not
really
linger
sad
on the
one.
bad things, right? You're writing because you like to write. That should be why you write. Because you have stories to tell.
Mm.
And you have stories that others want to read. Those things need to coincide.
Your writing journey only ends when you put down that pen and quit. That's it. Right, so for those of you who are stuck and you're like, oh my god, I have a writer's block, or you're like, I don't know where to start, but I'm interested. Okay, so the last editor's advice is plan, 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 and listen to your editor. Right, so I guess this
Yes, listen to
is
your editor.
it's like so straightforward. Listen to your editor, love your editor, and just generally treat them well because they are the ones who are really going to be your
No,
best friend.
don't listen to her.
They are your best friend on your web novel journey, okay? It's kind of like their job, but at the same time it's not kind of like their job. So yeah, just basically don't be a dick and don't be stupid. Don't tell your editor that they are being dumb, okay? Because they know better than you what's going on to make you succeed in the web novel market if you are contract. Like everything they say there is a web novel. It can be a web novel propaganda, but if you really want to succeed and you want to win the competition, you gotta listen to them. They know what's going on behind the scenes better than that. Right. So as for plan, 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 this is plotting. I don't know. I don't think I've done any like videos or whatever not. New writers, there's a lot of videos out there. If you want to know how to plot and make a story arc for your new work, you can actually Google it. There are a lot of other writers teaching you different techniques, different methods, how to do this. SunScar has a very unique way of doing things, and I have my personal way of doing things. So, yeah, you can be a plotter, you can be a
We could
planster.
talk about that someday,
Yeah,
right?
we'll take a rain check for tonight because like the stream is running like long enough. So yeah,
No,
Sunska.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an hour plus. Yeah. So yeah, so Sunska is
Yeah.
going to
1 hour 20
be.
minutes we've been on.
Yes, you're right. Sunsky is gonna be a regular with my live stream, so I hope to be able to host this more frequently. And I think people actually do like this kind of content better. I need to video edit, so yeah, Sunsky is just here to do the talking. She's very humorous
Oops.
and sarcastic sometimes. She bullies me behind the scenes, maybe. Yeah, but anyway, Sanskar is a chill
What?
person.
What?
Nothing. Sanskar is a very chill person. So before I end the stream, please check out below the description. There is Sunscar's Instagram. You can go and stalk her and spam her messages and tell her to stop bullying me. But in all, alright. In any case, we'll be taking questions as well. For those of you who missed the live stream, you can put it in the comments and I will reply to them. And if you want Sanskar to reply to them, just go ask her on Instagram. It's okay. I don't care. Like, if you don't love me enough to trust my opinions, that's fine as well. Okay, that's it for me.
Some opinions are better than other opinions.
Okay, okay. Alright. So that's all for the live stream tonight. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye. Okay, how do I end my stream?